we are going to cover inflation only for 40 minutes. So we are also going to manage our time. It's only 40 minutes. So we are going to start. Inflation is a situation where the general prices of goods and services in a particular region or a country are persistently rising over a given period of time. Inflation is what most of us we can realize in the country Kenya, that the prices of goods keep increasing each and every time. The prices of goods are increasing, persistently increasing. Please note the word persistently. Also note the keyword in a particular region. And here I'm referring to the prices of goods and services. Very good. As we move on, I also want us to be very keen on some few key points. That the point is increase of price of goods and services. For example, some 10 years ago, the price of bread, but it's the same quantity, is 400 grams. But what has really happened is we have got the price continually increasing. So the inflation effect affects something that you want to underline in your notes. It affects something we call the purchasing power. What you could have afforded those years ago has reduced, because imagine today when you had 1,000 shillings in the 10 years ago, you could have been able to afford 50 breads. But now today we could be able to afford 40 breads. But today with the same 1,000, you can afford lesser breads. So that is what we refer to as inflation. That continuous increase in price. Good. As with those who are joining us, it's good to note that I've muted all of you so that you first learn the topic, then I'll give you some. I've muted all of you so that we can first learn the topic. Then after we learn, from there we are going to come to ask questions. As we all know, demand is the will and the ability to afford goods in the prevailing price. To afford goods in the prevailing market prices. So as we refer to these goods, as we come and now realize the need for these goods, is a willing and ability to afford the goods at the prevailing price in the market. So there's something on that to understand, that when the prices of goods goes very high, when the prices of goods are very high, this is what is going to affect in later, is going to affect the prices of goods, is going to affect the price of our goods. Then we move on to another point of our discussion. Now, inflation, we have said, is that a continuous increase of prices of goods. What is the opposite of inflation? It's very good to be very cautious here. That now a country can look for measures to reduce. A country can look for measures on how it can reduce the same inflation. And when a country is looking for measures on how it can reduce the inflation rate, we call it deflation. We call it deflation. So inflation is the persistent increase in the prices of goods. But on the other side, we have something we call deflation. It will be the persistent decrease. It's good to note this. It is not once a decrease, but a persistent decrease in the prices. I want us to go very fast to measuring of inflation. How does a country know it is suffering from inflation? How does a country know it is suffering from these challenges? So I want to come there very fast. When a country wants to realize that it's suffering from inflation, we are going to measure using something called Consumer Price Index. The Consumer Price Index, that is CPI. I want to be very keen with one word. What is the meaning of the word index? All of us, we have index numbers. Index is just a number, and most of the time when we are using inflation, we are going to refer to as this number. We are going to refer to as the number in percentage. In many cases, this number comes in the form of percentage. So we move on to something else very fast. Factors to consider in measuring the inflation. What are these factors that we need to consider when we are measuring inflation? One, it is the selection of the commodity. Something we also refer to as basket of goods, basket of the commodities. Which commodities will the government use to evaluate the increase of prices of goods and services? One, for these goods to be chosen, it's good to note this for your explanation of the point, is that the goods must be consumed by the average consumers. We use goods that are consumed by average consumers. The goods we use must be goods that are consumed by an average consumer. Very good. Number 2 point that we are going to do is choice of the base year. We are going to realize that when you are calculating CPI, we are going to talk about the current year over the base year times 100. The current year times the base year, the current year over the base year times 100. So the big question is, how do we get the base year? We get the base year, we choose our base year by considering goods that are fairly consumed. We consider goods that are fairly consumed. My second point was, how do we get the base year? Sorry for the interference. How do we get the base year? The base year is considered by an year where the price of goods was most stable. When the price of goods was most stable. When we talk about most stable, we talk about an year where we had minimal interferences. An year where we had minimal interferences. I'm going to go very fast to a good example of this year. It's an year without political interference. It's an year without COVID-19. We are talk about an year when the country is not suffering. So the prices of goods are stable in the fact that there's no any other factor that has affected the price. Very good. Number 3 point, we are going to refer to the point of prices of commodities in the current year and the base year. Current year we are referring to as the year that we are calculating. The base year we have just explained that we are referring to the year with the most stable, an year with the most stable economy, an year with the most stable economy. So we must get the price of the current year, and also we must get the price of the base year. I want us to go very fast to the next point. Which is the fourth point. We are going to refer to as the choice of the average to be used. A country does not use one type of good. A country does not use one type of good when it is calculating inflation. So a country may need to use a sample of goods. In point 1, we talked about selection of the basket of goods. So here we are talking about a country has to come and choose the goods. And here we are going to refer to two things. We are going to refer to two things. We are going to talk about the simple average, and then we are also going to talk about the weighted average. So when we are talking about the goods to be used, we have to consider between the two. We have to consider between the simple average and the weighted average. Thank you for those who are joining still up to now. Our lesson, we have already covered the definition of inflation, and we have gone a bit far. So welcome, and note in your phone that I've muted all of you because we have to first learn before we ask questions. Then we come to the other part. I want us to talk about the types of inflation. Sorry. There's some students who are still trying to call. There's the type of inflation. We are going to refer to the type of inflation. We have two types of inflation, students, as understand this. We have levels of inflation and we have types of inflation. So for types of inflation, we only have two. We have demand pull, that it comes due to demand, and we have cost push that also comes due to cost of production. So very fast, allow me to go very fast to the point of demand pull inflation. When you're referring to the demand pull inflation, this is where there is excessive demand for goods and services in the economy, causes a rise in the prices. We are talking about the prices of goods are going very high. And here when you are referring to as the prices of goods going very high, we are referring to the prices of goods have gone very high. And remember, demand is one is willing and ability to purchase. One must be, if one referring to as demand, one must be willing and must be able to purchase. Ability comes with the money. So here we are referring to when there is excess demand, it means these people can be able to afford goods. Where, for example, of times when the demand has been high, we talk about festive seasons. For example, we can talk about Christmas, festivity seasons. Most of us, we live in towns, and we have seen during the festive season, during Christmas season, the demand of goods going very high because people have money. We can also talk about the demand for red flowers, red things during Valentine seasons. So this is also an example of increase of demand. We can also talk about during school functions. Some of us all of us have experienced a school function in school, and we have experienced that some of these things that the students love eating go on a very high demand. That's what we are referring to as when the demand is very high in the country, when people are seriously demanding goods in the country, that demand for goods in a country results to an increase in the prices of goods and services. So can we go directly to causes of demand pull inflation? What are the causes of demand pull? You realize these are the causes that make people to have money. Remember, we talked about purchasing power. Here we are referring to very key purchasing power. For this person to demand, must have the power to demand. So here we are referring to as the causes of demand pull inflation. And very fast, allow me to go to the point number one. In our point number one that results to this, we are going to have increase of government expenditure. Increase of government expenditure. The government of Kenya collects money. We did a topic called public finance. In the topic public finance, we talked about the source of government money. We said means on how the government gets money, ways on how the government gets money. And now here we are talking about when the government now uses this money. That means when the government is using money, it is taking back the money back to the people. So the people now get money either directly or indirectly. This money that the government collects in form of taxes, levies, duties, custom, whichever, either during internal borrowing, external borrowing. When the government now starts using this money in development projects in the country, when they're now using this money in different development projects in the country, this money has now come back. I want to give a very good example of this. We want to talk about the Youth and Women Fund. All of us we know about pesa ya vijana, pesa ya wanawake. The Youth and Women Fund. When this money comes back into this youth, and when this money comes back to the youth and the women, the money has started circulating. When these people are given this money in the form of short loans, the money has started circulating. And when people have money, definitely they are going to increase our demand for the goods. So I want to talk about also the government subsidies. The government gives money to reduce the production cost. The government can give money directly to a company to reduce the production cost. This money that is given directly to reduce the production cost, that money in the end return, the money in the end return is going to circulate back to the people. Kazi kwa vijana, CDF, government, which is called the devolved government. All these things have brought money back to the people, and when people have money, people will demand or have a purchasing power, which in return will result to increase in demand, resulting to demand pull inflation. Second point I want to talk about, a point that's a bit tricky to most of you. Effects of credit creation by the commercial banks. Credit creation by the commercial bank. Initially, we covered a topic referred to as money and banking. And when we covered the topic money and banking, this term credit creation came. This is the ability of the commercial bank to lend money to people. This is the ability, the willingness of the commercial banks to lend money back to the community. The banks lend out money to the public. And most of the times, people will borrow money when the rates are low, when the lending rates are low. And when people are able to lend, when people are able to access more money, when people are able to access money from the commercial banks, the money still continue to circulate. Today we can refer to as very many short loans that are available in our economy. In our economy, we are talking about so many short loans, even mobile loans. Those small loans are increasing our ability. They are increasing the amount of money. So for commercial banks, when they have low interest rates, reducing the compulsory deposit with the central bank, when we talk about relaxation of loan requirements, all these things are things that are going to come in, and they are going to increase the amount of money that a commercial bank is going to lend to its own people. And the commercial bank is going to lend to its own. So when this money, when the credit creation increases, people will have money. And people have said when people have money, they are going to have purchasing power. They are going to demand more, resulting to an increase in our demand for the good. Thank you. We are moving on easily. I want us to go to the next point, which is the point number 3. I hope all of us you have understood the aspect of credit creation. Let me refer to something that is a bit common today in the current situation. Let us talk about the situation in the COVID-19, where the government has reduced the rate in the bank. It has also even reduced the taxes to people. When it has reduced the rate to the bank, this money has come back to us. This money has come back to us, the people, and it has increased our credit rate. I want to go next to the number 3. Increase in money incomes. Here we are talking about salaries, wages, fees, commission, or here we are referring to as the rewards of labor. When we come to this, we said about when the money increases, when there's an increase in wages, people